mean, things in life change.
Don't be a prisoner. Don't be a prisoner in the moment. Don't get out of here with that.
Fluid.
Get out of here.
What did I tell you?
Till the wheels fall off. Don't even
if
try
you gonna
it.
speak, could you at least have the decency to be on camera,
I don't
Catwoman?
decide if I'm on camera or not. Other people
so we
decide
can
that.
know who ain't. Molly trying to get at me already.
Let's go
Well,
to
all I got
start
to
the
say
show.
is this: it's fluid.
So you on?
It's fluid.
Are you on ship?
The world is
He's
fluid.
such a prisoner of the moment.
First
It's
take in the half.
embarrassing.
It's fluid. Let's go. It's fluid.
The winner of Game 5 gone on to win the series 82% of the time, and that's why they call it the pivotal Game 5. Celtics lead by 6. Battered and bloodied. The Bucks come back. Portis puts it up, and it goes! And Milwaukee is in front. Marcus Smart goes to the rack and blocked by Drew Holiday. Smart in half court, he's picked by Holiday, and that's going to do it. Milwaukee, a comeback win on the road.
Good day. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into First Take. It has been way too long, Jay Williams. Radio tour. Good to see you.
Good to be back.
Looking dapper.
What's up? What's up? How y'all doing?
Hello,
I'm doing
Jay.
good.
You had the Tigress outfit on 2 days ago. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday you was Purple Rain, and today you Catwoman. Now that's what this is.
No, this is
And
very
you.
classic.
Like some
It
Minnetonka.
looks very
Classic.
nice. It looks very. Hey, I'm a fan of Catwoman. Here's the deal. I love the suit that you wear,
Thank you.
bro. But you do know winter is over.
Yeah, but it's cold
He
in the
did this
studio.
to me yesterday,
It's
too, with the
freezing
fabric.
in the studio.
not cold.
I
It's
don't
not
care
cold.
that 70 degrees. It's cold in
It's
here.
not cold, but you gonna walk outside.
Well,
with that
I
on.
would have been wearing a Tom Ford suit. I'm going to have to chase you down and redouble the bet.
You didn't have to chase me down. I was ready to pay my bet.
Oh, you didn't call me and text me.
You were the foolish one. Well, why would I call you? I know you're looking for me, but you were the foolish one that said double or nothing. I was minding my business when you offered me double or nothing. You're still alive,
You're
though.
still alive, though.
Still alive, though.
Yeah, we right
All
there.
right.
Amari Stoudemire will be joining us, too, so
Stat.
that'll be a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah, I got some throwbacks coming up also when he joins us, so get ready for that, okay?
Why is he? I don't know.
Looking
I don't know. I'm going to be very curious to see how Amari Stoudemire is on the show. I don't know if you noticed about Amari Stoudemire. One of the nicest human beings on the planet. I mean, I don't know if he's suited to be a
I
debate.
feel like when you call people nice, it's a low-key diss.
No.
No, I do. He did it to someone the other
feels
day.
like it.
He did it to
Only for the
JJ
purpose
Redick.
of-
He's like, oh, you're such a nice guy.
I did not say that about JJ Redick.
Williams,
JJ Redick is
all Jay Williams, very
Hold on. Yeah,
So let's-
cerebral. Yes. JJ Redick is not that nice of a guy. He is not that
Oh
nice of a
my
guy.
goodness.
He is not.
Get
I've
the
seen it.
tape.
He is not.
Get the tape.
JJ
Everybody
Redick's
get the
got an
tape.
attitude. Then he got contaminated by you because he's got an attitude all the time. I'm just saying.
That's what you do to people.
Wow.
That's what you do to people.
Is that how you would describe me? An attitude?
No, only
all
with
the
me.
time?
Only
Yeah,
with me.
okay.
You're very abusive, just like my 4 sisters. Very abusive. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh.
Let's go. Let's go.
Pray
Before I
for
get
me.
in my feelings even
Pray
more.
for me. All right. The Bucks rallied from a 14-point fourth quarter. Why did we even have an open to the show? We should have just right to the VO. A deficit to win 110-107 and take a 3-2 lead in the Eastern Conference semifinal series against the Celtics. Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's the real deal. 40 points, 11 rebounds. While guard Drew Holiday added 24 points, a block, and a steal on back-to-back possessions against Marcus Smart at the end of the game. The Bucks host the Celtics Game 6 on Friday, 7:30 Eastern. Let's go. Here's Drew Holiday on the Bucks' resilience.
I mean, obviously we're in Boston. We're down 14 in the fourth quarter. Like, you kind of just people would say that everything's against us, but we come together, and I feel like we've done that multiple times, and we'll live and die by that.
We don't have time to worry about how we lost. We ain't got time to worry about we lost and right now and it hurts. Got time for that. So it hurts. It definitely hurts, but we ain't got time to feel it. We got to go on to the next one, and really it's simple. If you're not ready to come play the next game, then don't step on that court.
You know you're committed when you got the green hair. The Celtics collapse came late in Game 5 as they had a 92% win probability when they led by 6 at the 2-minute mark. Missed opportunity. NBA teams had won 232 straight playoff games when leading by 6 points with 2 minutes remaining or less. Jay Williams, talk to me. More of a Bucks comeback or a Celtics collapse?
It's more of a Bucks comeback, in my opinion. First off, the Bucks wouldn't even be in the game if Giannis didn't single-handedly keep them in the game in the first half.
Yeah, he's unreal.
Right? Like the go-go gadget arms, the way he was able to come to the opposite side of the rim, the way he got beat up, Stephen A., the physicality of the game, he kept coming. One of the things I love about Giannis, he could have a bloody eye, he can get hurt, he's gonna keep coming, and there's no complaining. So the fact that they're in the game, and look, the number I have, 3 of 20 is what Giannis has been shooting from the three-point line in this series against the Boston Celtics. I think we can all agree that looking at the team from top to bottom, the Boston Celtics are the more complete team. They have the complete package defensively and their offensive weapons, right? Milwaukee being down Chris Middleton, we're expecting Jrue Holiday to do more. You know what you're going to get from Giannis on the floor. But for Giannis to be 3 of 20 at this point when they're down 6, 2 minutes left, to make a 3, to make it down 3, to get a steal then, to come back for Jrue Holiday, to make a 3, for Bobby Portis to get that offensive rebound. Even though Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown banged into each other, for them to come together at that point of the game, they took this game, Stephen A. They didn't have any point being in the game. They came back because they understood how to win. And Marcus Smart, it's not all on Marcus Smart, but you want your guard to be in control of the game down the stretch. There were a series of blunders I saw Marcus Smart do that allowed Milwaukee to take that game from Boston.
So what are you saying? It's more about the Bucks comeback?
I'm saying it's yes.
Yeah.
The Bucks took this game.
To me, it's more about the Celtics collapse. You had a 14-point lead in the second half. All right? 10 minutes ago, you were in control of the game. And let's analyze some of the things that have transpired. When we look at, first of all, let me say this. I'm not gonna go in any specific order, and I'm not taking anything away from the Bucks. Giannis is that dude. He just is. And Jrue Holiday just can't say enough about the defensive tenacity that he put on display last night and how effective that he was. But collectively, they all showed up, including Bobby Portis. Even though there were a couple of plays he could have made, there were far more things he did right than he did wrong, and he deserves a lot of credit as well. Milwaukee collectively showed what a champion is made of. Let's give credit where credit is due. There is no Chris Middleton, and they showed up and they did what they had to do, but I'm not going to belabor that point. I'm only saying that to say that I appreciate and understand where you're coming from. Here's what I'm pointing to with the Boston Celtics. What year is this? 2022. Don't we see three-pointers all over the place by every team? When's the last time you see a team not even attempt a three-point shot in the fourth quarter? That was the Boston Celtics last night. No excuse. We've been waiting for Jason Tatum. We believe he's arrived because we know he's a star in this league. When Marcus Smart got the ball on the baseline after he had turned the ball over to Giannis, okay? And then ultimately it became a three-pointer because Bobby Portis wisely passed up an open shot, a contested shot from Horford, kicked it to his left, fed it, to Jrue Holiday, bam, three-pointer. You got that, right? After that had happened, Marcus Smart gets the inbounds play. He gets past Connaughton. He's driving baseline. Watch the left corner, the bottom of the screen to your left. Jason Tatum is virtually standing in the corner. He made no effort to go for the ball. Now, it was a quick inbounds to be fair. But the point is, go back to the days of a Michael Jordan with a Craig Elo and those guys. Get the basket. Watch the effort put forth. Think about Kobe Bryant when the game is on the line and how you're literally maneuvering through a multitude of people. And everybody in the building knows better than even think about. Everybody on the team rather knows better than to think about giving that ball to somebody else because you coming for it. You want it. That wasn't Tatum. That wasn't Tatum. Then we get to Smart. You get the shot ejected, and then Jrue Holiday makes a sensational play after literally snatching the ball from you and then falling out of bounds and throws it off you to retain possession. Then after all of that happens, what happens here? You've got Bobby Portis with the putback. Why? Because Marcus Smart, full of effort as always, basically bum rushed Jaylen Brown and knocked him out the way so Bobby Portis was able to get the offensive rebound off of the Giannis miss. That happened. And then after all of that, Marcus Smart dribbling with his head down. Jason Tatum is wide open, coming down the right side. I mean, nobody in the vicinity. Now, once he caught the ball, Giannis would have been able to contest him, but he could have made a move and launched a three-point shot to at least try to tie. So that was just an awful 40 seconds of Marcus Smart right there. Now, Marcus Smart, we love him, Defensive Player of the Year, high energy, holds people accountable. We ain't going to throw any shade on him, just a bad 40 seconds. We just got to call it like we see it. But when you look at the multitude of things that have transpired, combined with how Jaylen Brown had gotten off in the third quarter with some of those threes that he's launching, did you think it would have been wise to go to him in the fourth quarter? I think so. Did you believe it would be wise for Jason Tatum to be a bit more effective and a bit more aggressive in the fourth quarter? I think so. And the fact that those things did not happen, combined with the fact that Ime Udoka, who's a Coach of the Year candidate, doing an outstanding job. We love him and the job that he's done. It wasn't his shining moment either, because how many times did Marcus Smart have the ball in his hands instead of a Jaylen Brown, instead of a Jason Tatum? These are the kind of things that you don't let happen in a playoff game, particularly against a reigning defending champion led by a superstar in Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is on the court bleeding and all. And I don't know why the game wasn't stopped or paused for a second so you could treat his bleeding. But the bottom line is, ended up with a 40-point, 11-rebound night. You know he's coming. They're the reigning defending champions. They have been here before. And all those things you let happen. This is about a Boston collapse more so than it's about a Milwaukee.
Well, by the way, though, Stephen A., Marcus Smart has made a lot of clutch plays for his team the entire year.
I agree.
So it's not like that was an anomaly. And actually, if you look at the play where they got the inbounds on the sideline, right, where you got the block by Drew Holiday, Al Horford was coming down the opposite side of the court for a pin down. Jason Tatum, like Giannis was over the ball like this on the sideline. There was no way they were going to get that shot there. He makes the right read. It was a hell of a move.
But you saw Udoka going like this to Tatum, because Tatum was supposed to come off that. You're supposed to come off of it and fly to the ball. You're supposed to do that.
But in the Milwaukee Bucks defense now, Drew Holiday is on the weak side. He comes over for that block. Because he has I know you're not blaming it on. Right. That was a great look by Marcus Smart. Yes. It's better defense by Drew Holiday.
Sure, I agree.
Now, the last play is a little bit concerning because as a guard, when I catch the ball on an inbounds pass, one dribble, my head is up. I'm looking up. That should have been a skip pass.
That's right.
But I have to give credit to Drew Holiday for digging down that.
Well, I'm not taking anything away. That's why I said I'm not stripping Milwaukee of the credit it deserves. What I'm saying to you is, for example, when you bring up Marcus Smart, what does Marcus Smart make big plays on two occasions? Defensively, anywhere. Number one. Number two, when it's a shot, it's catch and shoot. It's not you dribbling the ball up the court. The ball is in your hand.
The last play.
The last play, Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum has to have the ball in their hands. And if you touch the ball, it's for the sole express purpose of getting one of those two the ball as quickly as possible.
I agree with you on that.
Marcus Smart didn't do that.
How much were they missing Robert Williams?
I think that helps with the physicality around Giannis getting to the rim whenever he wants. I think that's a huge.
And somebody to finish at the basket.
Yes.
Somebody to finish at the basket.
Yeah.
Because they had nothing on the interior last night when it really, really counted.
So he's questionable for Game 6 as well. Asked you this: do you believe Boston can bounce back and still win this series? Because Game 7 would be at home.
I do believe they can bounce back, but there is something that gives me more confidence about who Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks are in these type of moments. I believe Boston has the talent that should be in the NBA Finals. Yeah. I don't know if they have the maturity in these end-of-game scenarios the way Milwaukee does to get there.
I will tell you where I'm at with this. Okay. I got Boston in 7.
Okay.
Obviously, pick looks wrong like right now. I'm not jumping off the ship, but I will tell you this. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Milwaukee won this series, but back in Boston. In other words, I still believe Boston's going to win Game 6 and force Game 7. Now, you going to beat Giannis 2 games in a row? A Game 6 and 7 when he's trying to get his second consecutive title? That's a tall ask. I'll jump off the ship. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But what I'm most confident about, I really believe that Boston is going to go into Milwaukee for Game 6 tomorrow night and beat Milwaukee and force a Game 7. I could see Milwaukee losing tomorrow night and coming back and winning Game 7.
I agree with you, but it is a hostile environment.
It is a hostile environment.
Can I just say something real quick, though?
Yes.
We are talking about the Milwaukee Bucks without their second best player in Chris Middleton.
Which is unbelievable.
What does this say about Giannis? That this dude right now, you're talking about the last 3 years. If he got back-to-back regular season MVP, he followed that up with a world championship and a finals MVP. If he finds a way to be undermanned to get by the most complete team in the East in the Boston Celtics and gets to a championship game again.
Well, see, here's what it says. If you're the Jay Williams of the world, it says the man's phenomenal and he's great and all-time great and all of this other stuff.
Thank you for speaking.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
Okay.
I don't disagree.
Okay.
What it says to me? What it says to me?
What does it say to you? After you explain what it says to me, for me.
Yeah.
I love when people speak for me.
He ain't Ben Simmons. That's what it said to me. That's what it said to me. No, wait a minute. Stay with me. Because you know how I am. You'll sit up there. How many times do you listen to me and you go like this? What the hell is he talking about? And then I explain it. You go like this. Damn, I ain't think about it that way. Here's the deal.
Oh, my goodness.
This same Giannis Antetokounmpo, they would once count when he was at the free throw line. 1, 2, 3, 4, because he would take forever to shoot his free throw, right? And obviously, damn near commit violations sometimes, okay? He keeps coming nonstop. He ain't scared to get fouled. He ain't scared to go to the free throw line. What does he do last night? He gets fouled within the last 20 seconds. So goes right to the free throw line, hits the front end. All right? Hits the first one, misses the second one. Bobby Portis gets the putback because Marcus Smart knocks Jaylen Brown out the way. We understand that. But Giannis's courage, his fearlessness, his willingness to attack, he don't give a damn about the shrapnel or cynicism, criticism, or whatever coming his way. That's point number one. And point number two, his jump ain't been great. Saw that three that he hit? Pulled up, yanked it, just like that. The courage, the consistency, the fearlessness, the fact that he don't give a damn what anybody says. He's constantly coming. That's why I said, it says to me,
Jay, was it fair to say he's one of the most mentally tough players?
Oh, yeah,
like him
1,000%.
and Joel Embiid, because I always bring up that immigrant mentality where it's next level, but you're not putting Joel Embiid there.
I don't know. I need to see that from Joel Embiid tonight.
As you know, with West Indian heritage,
you're
all right. I mean, the immigrant mentality, no doubt. That's a compliment. Huge compliment.
That's what I'm saying.
You gotta keep working.
Can I say something real quick? You would be the only man on this planet to find a way to put Ben Simmons' name in the same conversation as a two-time MVP and a world champion.
Diametrically opposed.
In Giannis.
Diametrically opposed. Polar opposites. How about
leave
that?
this man Ben Simmons alone. No. Let him do what he needs to do to get focused. Why are you even bringing his name to the conversation when we're talking about a guy who was Finals MVP?
Most people would try to give you a cerebral explanation.
Why do you keep using the word cerebral?
It's intellectual, whatever.
Whatever.
Let me say this to you. Because I want to. Why?
They have no need to be together.
Because I want to. Because what I'm trying to say to you is this. You think one has nothing to do with the other. I believe it's everything. You know why? Because this, other than Giannis's greatness, what is Giannis's greatest attribute?
His mentality, but I can compare his mentality to 90% of the NBA, let alone one player.
Hold on, you think that 90% of the NBA has the same mentality?
No, I think that 90% of the NBA does not have the same mentality as Giannis. So that's why I don't know why you would specifically choose Ben Simmons in this situation.
Well, first of all, you know why. I'm not going to believe
it. You can't let it go.
He was trying to say polar opposites. That's where he was going with that.
I choose not to see this first.
Don't spread your eyes when you talk to me like that.
This is First Take.
Don't give me.
I choose to. That's what the hell I want to do, because I want everybody to understand that when we root for somebody and when we want players, when we think about superstars that we want to be the faces of the NBA, when we want to walk through the turnstiles to support people, when we're clamoring and craving for people to give us, the fan, what we're looking for, Giannis is that dude. Because he never stops, and we know it. And you are either invested for him or you are invested against him. Either way, you are invested because of people like him. He is a treasure to the NBA and to professional sports. And I want everybody to understand that. That is what I am saying.
So you're building one guy up while breaking another guy down.
And
that's to prove a point that he's a treasure. You said I'm cerebral.
With all due respect, we ain't breaking Ben Simmons down. He already been broken. So we understand that. There ain't no breaking down. He already been broken. We trying to lift him up. We trying to give him the ingredients, sprinkle it up in there. You see what you should be? That's what we're trying to do.
We are going to get into the Nets in the show because Sean Mark spoke about Kyrie Irving. So we'll get into that in a little bit as well.
Why you got to bring it into it now, Molly?
Because he can't help himself.
Don't perpetuate this type of behavior.
He can't help himself.
I
didn't say anything.
Do you just boil water and drink it, or do you stuff in the tea bag and sprinkle some?
Well, it's called steeping.
Whatever. Steeping, whatever.
I don't stuff it in.
Just stuff it, steep it, whatever. I don't give a damn. Whatever. Okay?
Well, you have a good vocabulary. I just want to help you out.
I appreciate the help. Steeping. I learned a new word. Steeping. Okay? So I didn't know that word. I didn't know it. I mean, far be it. But the point that I'm trying to make is this. What you do is you don't sit up there and just boil the water. You steep a tea bag in it. You sprinkle some sugar in there. If you're West Indian like me, you throw a little milk, coconut milk, almond milk, whatever. You throw a little. You see, you mix it up in there. It's ingredients. Ingredients to success. You don't just do it plain. You don't just show up. There's ingredients to success. And I just told you what that ingredient should be.
Okay.
That's why I brought it up.
All right.
And I will continue.
I'm sure you will, yes, as we
right.
talk about Kyrie Irving soon.
Take
too.
notes. Take notes, my brother. Take
Listen.
notes.
No.
Giannis is,
It'll help you a great
is
deal.
a treasure.
It'll help you a great deal.
Worst.
Okay.
Let's carry on here.
Help a brother out.
Where are we going from here?
Yes.
The Grizzlies, because they are gamers. My goodness, Memphis routed Golden State 134-95. What is up with these blowouts in Game 5, sending the Western Conference semifinal back to San Francisco? The Grizzlies, Ja Morant, started the chant Grizz in 7. Memphis scored 25 points off 14 Golden State turnovers and had 36 points in the first half alone.
They not gonna whoop that trick alone. We're gonna whoop that trick together if we're gonna whoop that trick. We got our kicked. That's all right. It happens. But you don't be front runner. You know, when you spew it out, you gotta be willing to take it and not hide from it, not duck from it, not run from it, embrace it. So I appreciated the crowd tonight and the energy that they brought to the game. You know, and if they want to whoop that trick, we're gonna whoop them together.
Okay, clearly a missed opportunity for the Warriors, Stephen A. Yeah. Are you starting to get nervous?
Yes.
Starting? Like as in now, or like has he been nervous?
I've been a little nervous.
Okay.
I've been a little nervous. I'm not going to front. And I'm not joking around. I'm more nervous now.
Yeah.
And I want to say this, a couple of things, because it's important, because we're going to be fair. I'm always fair. That was one of the greatest ass whippings I've ever seen. I mean, excuse my language, Warriors got their asses kicked. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. You down as much as 55, and the star that's gone from the team is not yours. It's not like Steph Curry wasn't playing. It's not like Klay Thompson wasn't playing. It's not like Jordan Poole wasn't playing. It's not like Draymond Green wasn't playing. Ja Morant wasn't playing. Now, we've seen the Memphis Grizzlies enjoy success without the services of Ja Morant this year, and we've marveled at it. But nevertheless, nobody in their right mind would believe that you was going to see what you saw last night. I thought Memphis could win this game. And I said that yesterday, that Golden State would go back and give it to them and end this series. But it doesn't matter what happens in Game 6 if the Golden State Warriors win. It don't erase what we saw last night. That was an atrocity. That was one of the worst performances that I've ever seen. And I'm going to say this because this breaks my heart to say this, but I have to say this. One of the luckiest people in the National Basketball Association this morning is Mike Brown, the new coach for the Sacramento Kings. I would remind the world, I know Mike Brown. I love the guy personally. I know about some struggles in Cleveland as a coach, nothing personal. Struggles in L.A., coaching LeBron in Cleveland, coaching Kobe in L.A., struggles. But the bottom line is I respect the hell out of Mike Brown. Mike Brown stands today as the luckiest man in the NBA. Because I assure you, and Jay knows I'm telling the truth when I say this, I don't give a damn what anybody says. If the Sacramento Kings had not made a choice yet, and Mike Brown had coached these last two games the way that this Golden State Warriors team looked, that team would have cost him the head coaching job. I'm not saying it would have been fair. I'm saying that as a person that has covered the NBA for over a quarter century, I'm telling you what I know. And there isn't a soul in the NBA that would deny that that this is true. If the Sacramento Kings, they won't admit it now because they already made the hire, but if the Sacramento Kings had not made their choice, considering how Golden State looked, as putrid as they did, and struggling to win Game 4, and then looked the way that they looked last night, it would have cost him that head coaching job.
I get
They
it.
would not have given it to him.
But how much of a factor is Steve Kerr's absence?
That's where I'm going.
In this loss.
That's where I'm going. Because what I'm saying to you is, under no circumstances have we ever, nor would we ever imagine that we would have seen a performance like that with Steve Kerr coaching this team. Not like that. They've been blown out before under Steve Kerr. Not like that. Not like that. That was an all-time epic embarrassment. And without Ja Morant, that made it even worse. Do I think the Golden State Warriors are going to recover to win this series? Yes. Do I think that they're going to recover enough where they could beat Phoenix still? Yes. But when we talk championships, with what we saw from Milwaukee last night, what we know Boston is capable of, how am I going to sit here with comfort? And let me respect Phoenix. How am I going to, because Mikal Bridges and DeAndre Ayton and Crowder and CP3 and that assassin that is Devin Booker. I can't sit here with comfort and tell you that this Golden State Warriors team that vacillates back and forth, look like a juggernaut 1 minute, look like they don't know how to play together the next. I can't tell you that that's what will win the West. I'm very concerned about what I'm seeing because the inconsistency is what alarmed me. And last night, I mean, damn, I'm trying to go back. I mean, I know teams that have lost by 60 in the regular season. And
Not
I
like
mean,
that.
not like
Not
this.
like that.
Yeah.
Not like this.
Jay, what do you attribute the swings to? And how much of it do you think has to do with coaching and Steve Kerr not being there, if any?
Well, game 4, I gave them credit because they found a way to win ugly.
Yep.
And everybody was talking about, well, Memphis is playing without Ja Morant. You know, they're still in this game. And I'm like, yeah, but you know what? Finding a way to win ugly means something because championship teams with experience find a way to do that. But they did seem like they were lethargic. One of the things that's intriguing to me is about these rivalries that are occurring in our game, Stephen A. So I said this last year when I saw Ja Morant and Memphis bounce Golden State. I said, I was like, this is a rivalry. People say, well, it's not a rivalry for Stephen Curry. I'm like, yo, maybe not for Stephen Curry, but for Ja Morant, it's a rivalry. So last night on the bench, I see Ja Morant going 1, 2, 3. He's doing all the same things that Stephen Curry does when he's on the ground after he makes it and 1 3. Right? It means something to them. So for me last night, knowing that Steph said, whoop that trick, right? Which that's a whole other conversation that we can go into. I was like, oh, okay. It kind of feels a little bit, and I know Steph talks, but a little bit uncharacteristic for Steph in the way he's kind of publicly saying things now, talking trash in the way he's engaged with Memphis and Ja Morant. I still have trust and faith that they are going to be able to beat Memphis, even though I did pick Memphis to win. I still think Golden State is a better team with Ja Morant being out. But it does bring me to something that I think is an intriguing storyline that we have to get ourselves prepared for. If Phoenix Suns are able to win against Dallas and close it out, I think the world is about to see one of the best low-key rivalries in all of sports, and that is Stephen Curry against Chris Paul. Now, we're seeing a rivalry with how Steph reacts talking to Ja Morant. Let me give you some history between these two.
Please do.
So when Steph was coming into the league, Steph actually trained with CP3. CP3 took him to Disney World with his family. They trained the whole time. Steph saw him as a mentor. They then met in the 2014 playoffs, the Clippers and the Golden State Warriors. The Clippers won in 7. It came down to the wire. CP3 had 23 points.
Hit the winning shot.
Yeah, winning shot.
Right.
But Steph dropped 29 that game. He played really well. And it keeps going. Some of the most viral moments in Steph's career have been against CP3. Now, I know we look at CP3 as the all-American player right here. But like 4 or 5 years ago, man, CP3 wasn't really liked around the league by a lot of players now. CP3 used to do things. You go for a jump shot, he would hit you here in spots that were close to the family, all that kind of stuff, right? One of the best competitors in the game of basketball. If that does happen, I do wonder how this team that seems a little bit lethargic in how they handle rivalries will handle that rivalry for CP3 and Steph.
Interesting point, but correction. In the past, you talk about CP3 being liked. Hell, he still isn't liked by a lot of players.
I'm just talking about media perspective, fans.
No, I'm talking players.
Yes.
But respected by all.
Yes. I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that.
And CP don't care because he's a pit bull. He's an ultra competitor. And when he's trying to beat you, he don't care about whether you like him or not. So I have no problem with it whatsoever. But I do think that Steph Curry's a problem for him. Steph Curry has proven to be a problem for him because CP3 is an elite of a defender as he can be. There's little you can do when a brother's pulling up from 30 or 40, which we've seen Steph do, particularly against CP3 in the past. I think the thing now that is plaguing the Golden State Warriors, and somebody needs to say it, so I'm going to say it, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. You know how much I believe in Klay Thompson. He got my vote for the All-75 team. He's a future Hall of Famer, first ballot without question. 3 championships, 5 straight NBA Finals. They couldn't have done all of that without him, even if they had Durant as far as I'm concerned. See, Klay Thompson is that special. But I do think that Klay Thompson is a bit sensitive in a good way. But the way it's affected him this year, there have been too many occasions where I see him launching shots he don't normally launch, missing up passing the way that he never did in the past, because as much of a marksman as he is, he'd make the right pass. I think this is a guy that no matter how much he has accomplished, he felt underappreciated and has been counted out, and rightfully so. Remember, the media cost this man about $30 million. He signed the max deal, but Kemba Walker was chosen as third team All-NBA a few years back. It cost Klay Thompson. I don't blame Klay Thompson. He never speaks to the media again in life because it cost him $30 million. Because damn it, he would have been in a position, had he made that team, he would have been in a position to get the Supermax, $220 million instead of $190 million. The media cost him $30. Wasn't me, but the media cost that man $30 million. If he got an attitude with the media for the rest of his career, I don't blame him one bit. The flip side is that since he's come back, there have been too many occasions where he seems to be focused on him and proven, not in a selfish way like I don't care about the team, is that he seems hell-bent on proving doubters wrong instead of just playing his game. When he plays his game, he has had spectacular games. But there's too many times where that has not been the case. And there's been a couple of games this series where he's been that guy, where he seems like he's just out there trying to prove what he can do instead of just
He'll
being
figure
that
it out,
consummate
though.
team
It's
player.
so hard coming off back-to-back injuries like that.
Exactly.
I'm talking mentality.
No,
Mentality-wise,
of
I
course, but
understand.
I'm saying that affects the mentality.
Here's the thing. If Memphis is able to get a win on the road, they have an advantage here, and they found something over the last two games. Steven Adams and Brandon Clark have been beating Golden State up inside. They had 18 offensive rebounds last night. And the physicality of Dylan Brooks on Stephen Curry, the way they play, that physicality, forcing turnovers. I mean, look, I still favor Golden State, but they're flirting with fire now. They're playing with fire in this one.
They are playing. Let me tell you this.
We have to
Playing
go to
with
break,
fire.
but I still don't understand these extreme swings.
I will say this. They don't want to go back to Memphis for
No, they do not.
They got to win
They do
game
not.
6. They don't want to go back to Memphis in game 6. And I love that kid, Brandon Clark. That's a special dude right there. I love his energy, his effort, the impact he has.
If they win on the road, does Ja Morant come back for Game 7?
I don't know.
And is it better for Memphis to have Ja Morant come back for Game 7?
I'm not a doctor. I would tell
It
you it's
looks
better
like
to
they
come
can
back.
get it done
in
either
Memphis.
way.
Yes.
In Memphis, Game 7?
Yes, it would be better if he can do it.
If he can
But
do
I
it.
don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what the situation is.
It is incredible, though, that they're getting it done without him right now, their best player. Still to come on First Take,
1-1.
did you hear what Sean Marks had to say? That's general manager Sean Marks and Coach Steve Nash met the media on Wednesday to discuss a season to forget. The Nets were swept out of the first round by Boston. Hard to fathom, considering Brooklyn was preseason title favorites. Marks held himself accountable and expressed the need to look for players to improve the culture of the team. He said that Ben Simmons has a new lease on life, so to speak, after his recent back surgery. Marks also didn't let Kyrie Irving off the hook for choosing not to get vaccinated and missing most of the season. Take a listen.
There's an objective and there's a goal at stake here. And in order to do that, we're going to need availability from everybody. You know, we're looking for guys that want to come in here, be part of something bigger than themselves, play selfless, play team basketball, and be available. And that goes not only for Kyrie, but for everybody here.
Okay. Stephen A., what is the significance of Sean Marks publicly calling out Kyrie Irving?
You've never seen me do this on First Take before.
Uh-oh.
About time. Thank God. Thank God Sean Marks said what he needed to say. We know who that was for. We know that's what that was about. We know that what was about. That's exactly what needed to be said. We need people who are going to be here and be available. It's that simple. No one can defend Kyrie. No one. You can try. It's falling on deaf ears. Walk in the streets. Talk to people. I'm going to look at the Brooklyn. I'm from Queens. But damn it, it's New York City. So I love all the boroughs, especially you, Brooklyn. Don't you want to see him play? Kyrie Irving is not good. He is spectacular. He is box office. This brother is sensational. You walk through the turnstile to see a brother like him play. And you know what he does, Jay?
What does he do?
Because he knows he's spectacular, I'll play when I want to play. You should feel privileged to see me play. That's his attitude. And so what Sean Marks is saying is, this is what we need. Let me be very clear about the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie Irving plays start to finish. He plays 70-plus games, okay? he's there for the playoffs without the shenanigans, without time off needed and all of this other stuff, Brooklyn might win the title. Because I think Kyrie Irving with KD is that spectacular. They didn't lose this team because of personnel. They lost because they were never together. They lost because there was no cohesiveness, no chemistry per se. And a few games during the regular season wasn't going to cut it. The Brooklyn Nets with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant on the same team, with Kevin Durant departing from Steph Curry and Golden State, KD has one playoff series win. In 3 years. 3 years ago, when we looked at these brothers together, and we fantasized about what they were going to bring, even though the first year was going to be without KD because he was recovering from the Achilles tear in the finals against Toronto. Kyrie only played 20 games that year. Didn't want to play in the bubble. Tried to discourage other people from playing in the bubble. Comes back after a 10-month layoff on December 22nd, to be exact, and then needed time off because of the riots at the U.S. Capitol. There's always something. And what I'm saying is Sean Marks stood up and said, enough's enough. Now, I hope he follows through because the words don't mean a damn thing without follow through. And we understand that. We understand that that could have all just been lip service. I beg to differ. I don't think that Sean Marks says that without talking to your man, Josiah, and ownership for the Brooklyn Nets and getting the okay to take the position that he took, because we all got peeps to answer to. And we get that. So we understand that. But the all objective and the sad part about all this stuff that goes on with Kyrie Irving and all the talking is that at the end of the day, we all are after the same thing, to see that spectacular brother on the basketball court
and play
more often than not. That's all we're after. We don't care what else you do. Do whatever you want to do with your life. He ain't getting in trouble with the law. He ain't getting arrested or nothing. He's not some reprehensible citizen that needs to be incarcerated or something like that. Kyrie's a good dude. Got his heart in the right place. He a bit misguided at times, but damn it, so a lot of us. It's no big deal. All we want to do, the sad part is all of this noise is being made because we want to see him play. That's all we want. And that's what Sean Marks said yesterday, and I'm down for that.
Okay, I am completely fine with Sean Marks setting a standard. You made a really interesting point. You have to double down on that standard and back up the words that you say. So this is where it's going to get interesting to me, because I do believe that Kyrie will be available to play this season. You named some pretty polarizing subject matter between the bubble, a lot of people worried about what was going on, the riots, the U.S. Capitol, understand that, and the pandemic. I do believe Kyrie will be available this year. But this comes down to a relationship, in my opinion. Sean Marks can say all that. But the person that needs to reinforce it, Stephen A. Smith, is Kevin Durant. Because at the end of the day, Sean Marks, Joe Tsai, all these guys can say all this stuff about what's going to happen. But until Kevin Durant has that conversation with Kyrie Irving privately and confirms that for them, I don't see his words. They fall on deaf ears, man. They do. Like, it needs to come from one of the greatest players in the world. Now, if that came from Kevin Durant to Sean Marks, then know that it needs to come from his mouth, because all that stuff creates a passive-aggressive style of a relationship. And for me, that relationship between those two, if they're on the same page and if they can directly communicate hard things to each other, that's what a championship chemistry is. So if that is coming from Kevin Durant, it needs to come directly from Kevin Durant to Kyrie.
Can you explain to me why it needs to come from Kevin Durant?
Because Kevin Durant is the face of the Brooklyn Nets franchise. He is a superstar in this game. He is one of the greatest players on the planet Earth, and he is the one person they know they cannot afford to displease or lose. So if Kevin Durant has this unreal loyalty to his boys, and particularly Kyrie Irving, and he don't want Kyrie Irving gone, if the Nets said to hell with that, we gonna do it anyway, you got a big time problem with Kevin Durant. You got a big time problem with Kevin Durant. But I will tell you this, since you only have one playoff series victory to show for it, if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, I take my chances. Because here's what the deal is. We gonna run this organization the way we see fit. I'll give you an example. LeBron wasn't too happy with the way Pat Riley did things. There were a lot of rumors. I don't know how true they were, but there were a lot of rumors about whatever it is that he felt and ultimately the rest of the dudes felt about Eric Spoelstra once they had initially arrived. What did Pat Riley do? Spoelstra ain't going nowhere. This is my guy. I run this franchise, and this is how it's going to go down, period. Now, you go from there. What I'm saying to you is this. Just like LeBron James has extreme value, even though Kevin Durant doesn't have that kind of value that LeBron James had, he still is incredibly, incredibly valuable. And if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, who wouldn't bust down my door to get their hands on Kevin Durant? If you are dogged about keeping Kyrie Irving, no matter what he does, basically giving him carte blanche to act any old way that he wants to, thereby in a de facto sense running the organization, I'm sorry, you can go too. Because guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to use both of y'all to get the assets that I need because you ain't got no trade clauses. They got rid of that years ago. So I'm going to use the assets that y'all would automatically bring, and I'm going to build a team. I don't want to lose Kevin Durant. The dude is sensational, and he's phenomenal. And a great dude who, by the way, always shows up to play. But the point is, at some point in time, KD, we are paying you too. Is your commitment to us or is your commitment to your boy? And if your commitment is to your boy,
that is the
why
question.
don't you get him in
That
line?
is the question. That is a $100 million question.
But here's my question, Jay.
Sure.
Isn't this a moot point next season? Because there won't be the vaccination restrictions in New York, so Kyrie will be available to play.
That's why I think he will be available. But obviously, there's some people that feel the way Stephen A. does, that there's always something.
Always something.
So I think this is Sean Marks setting that standard. But Stephen A., just off your point really quickly, that's why I said at the end of the day, it comes down to Kevin Durant.
I don't disagree.
Being able to draw a line and say, Kyrie, this is what I want. If there is something, I don't believe it, but if there is something, always something, it can't be here anymore.
Right.
He has to be willing to do that. And his lack of saying something is him saying something.
Absolutely. And to get to your question, Molly, more directly, here's what we're saying. Your question is because you're leaning on the whole vaccine issue.
Yeah.
My point about Kyrie is that it's always something. And the fact of the matter, there's always something that either gets in the way of him participating literally or participating figuratively because sometimes his mind and his heart just ain't there.
But what I would need to know is, was last season a breaking point for Kevin Durant? You know,
we gonna find out. We don't know.
That's what we don't know.
I don't think so.
We're gonna have more on this a little bit later.
If he gonna
don't think
so. He gonna let Kyrie go.
Still to come on First Take.
He can go too.
What a thriller we had in Beantown last night as the Bucks squeaked it out. But does Stephen A. think the Celtics can bounce back in Milwaukee?
What's wrong with you?
Look who joined the party. The one and only Amari Stoudemire. So good to see you.
What's up, big time?
What's going on?
What's going on, man?
Feeling good.
I mean, listen, man, I don't know why on earth you would want to come on First Take, man. I mean, you one of the nicest dudes on the planet.
Here we go.
I mean, are you sure?
It's a setup.
Anybody knows this about Stat. Anybody knows he's one of the nicest people in the world.
Not really,
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Not on the court. I've seen it.
Look at his face. I didn't say on the court. I mean, we know he'll yam it on you now, but I'm just saying, when it comes, he ain't trying to debate nobody. He ain't trying to get it. He don't even know how to frown. He don't even know how to frown.
What's wrong with him?
Every day, man.
Always.
Every day. This is the way he sets a tone with you.
Look out,
He gets underneath the skin.
You all right? You sure?
And don't think when he calls you nice, it's a compliment.
It is a compliment.
It's just a setup.
Yeah.
Always a backhanded compliment.
He's known me longer than you. We actually go
Guess
back
what time it is.
a few decades. You know?
So I just want to remind him of how you move these days. That it's a setup.
These days.
Yeah,
These days.
Well, I don't know.
These days, things are different these days.
These days.
Very different.
Stephen A. Amari. You might know Steve. I just want to fill you in on Stephen A.
Let's go.
Oh
Let's hear Amari
I know.
Same draft class.
Same draft class, and I've got a little throwback Thursday for you. Can we show that right now?
Oh, what y'all about to do?
Oh, boy.
Here we
Oh,
go.
that's when the 5X suits were in, though.
Yo, the
You know what I mean?
draft
That's what, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's.
Look how long my jacket is.
Yeah, it's a dress. It's a dress. It's a mini dress.
Three-quarter length. No, back then it was a three-quarter length jacket.
Fit 3 people in our suits. What is going on?
Where are you? I don't have my glasses on.
I'm the tiny little guy next to David Stern, next to DeJuan Wagner.
Oh, there you are. There you are.
Yeah,
You had more of a classic cut. Yeah, Amari.
I guess you can call that
Now,
classic. I guess.
Good players from that class.
Yeah, that's all right.
Better than Ned Hope.
Yeah, solid.
All right, let's talk some hoops. Hype breaker last night for Boston, right? So the Bucks rallied from a 14-point fourth quarter deficit to win 110-107 and take a 3-2 lead in the Eastern Conference semifinal series against the Celtics. Giannis Antetokounmpo finished with 40 points, 11 rebounds, while guard Drew Holiday added 24 points, a block and a steal on back-to-back possessions against Marcus Smart. The Bucks host the Celtics for Game 6 on Friday, 7:30 Eastern. That's right here on ESPN. Here's Coach Udoka on a tough evening.
Of course, we're going to be down. Guys are going to be pissed about the outcome. We outplayed them for 3.5 quarters, and so we talked about showing our resolve. We made it tougher on ourselves now, and it'll make it sweeter when we bounce back. But we gave up a golden opportunity tonight.
Amari, more of a Celtics collapse or a Bucks comeback?
I think it was a Bucks comeback.
Thank you.
They played well. I mean, as with Giannis, you want to, as a star player, you want to make sure your team keep it close into the fourth quarter, and in that way you can apply your dominance from the game and close it out. But I do think that Milwaukee, did what they could to keep the game close and then take the win toward the end.
You would say that. You would.
Thank you, because he's speaking the truth.
You would say he's not speaking
He's
the
speaking
truth.
the truth.
He's not speaking the truth. You know why? Because he's talking about what they did offensively. You see what I'm saying? I'm thinking about the opportunities blown by the Boston Celtics, all right? And obviously, if they were more efficient offensively, they would have won this game. But see, Stat ain't going to bring that up. See, he's going to bring up who was productive offensively instead of who wasn't. That's who he is, okay? We understand that because the brother would drop 28 on you in his sleep. I get where you're coming from, but the reality of the situation is you look at the multitude of errors Marcus Smart made. You look at the fact that Jason Tatum wasn't looking for the ball nearly as much as he should have. Shot 2 for 11 for the game from three-point range. The team collectively in this era, playing for Mike D'Antoni, what Steve Nash is your point guard. What the crew that y'all had in Phoenix. I mean, when's the last time you see a team not even attempt a three-point shot in the fourth quarter? That's what the Brooklyn Nets did. So there's a multitude of errors that they made that got in their own way, not taking anything away from Milwaukee. Milwaukee's big time. They're the reigning defending NBA champions for a reason. We give them their respect. I'm only talking about what transpired last night. I walked away thinking of the blown opportunity on your home court at TD Bank Garden in a Game 5, knowing you got to go back to Milwaukee down 3-2 on a break of elimination, and you blew that opportunity. I'm thinking about that more than I'm thinking about the fact, even though Giannis made the 3, even though he made 1 or 2 free throws, even though Drew Holiday made his 3, I'm thinking about the opportunities Boston had that they threw to the wayside.
It's good to have you on the show.
Yeah.
Some real basketball talk.
Absolutely.
What?
Absolutely.
What?
Let's have some real
What?
basketball talk. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I was covering basketball when you were in grade school.
Ooh, I knew that would get you where I wanted you to be.
You better watch
I knew
out.
it would get you right. Can I tell you in how many ways that you are wrong on this?
Okay, go ahead.
First off,
All right.
where was that game at?
Boston.
It was in Boston.
Yes.
You got to go on the road and get one.
Yeah.
That's every playoff game.
Sure.
Every hooper knows you go into a road in a playoff game, you got to go get it, first off. You gave me all these errors by Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum. Marcus Smart, turnover.
They've already got 2 in Boston.
Okay, that's fine.
That wasn't their first.
Well, Marcus Smart, all these errors. Was he just playing against himself last night? Was he just on the court by himself? Did the wind make him turn the ball over? No. Did the wind make his shot get blocked by Drew Holiday? Okay, I'm sorry. Jason Tatum, you got to go get the ball. Was he not being denied, Stephen A.? Did you not see Giannis? Did you
That's what we doing now. That's what we doing.
I'm sorry, I just gave you your time to talk. Can I finish my point? Did you not see Giannis on the ball, who's a 7-footer with a 7'4" wingspan, denying the pass to get to Jason Tatum in the first place? And the last thing, Stephen A., Ime Udoka, their head coach, said it. They outplayed their opponent for 3.5 quarters. So if you're being outplayed, don't you have to then outplay your opponent down the stretch to go steal one, go get it? Let's not minimize the greatness of Drew Holiday and the plays that he made down the stretch. Now, I know the last play against Marcus Smart, he could have picked his head up, but give this man some credit for putting his hand in the cookie jar and grabbing the cookie. Let's just not say, they just blew it away. They went out there and they took it, man. They took that game. Just put some respect on Milwaukee's name. That's what I want from you.
First of all, if we rewind until the
jab him down low at first.
Why
then you go up.
Why you talking?
Because this is a 2-on-1 scenario right now.
Why you talking to him while I'm talking though? Why you talking to him while I'm talking though? Here's the deal. Number one. All you gotta do is rewind the tape, and you see that I gave Milwaukee props. That's number one. Number two, the nerve, because I'm talking to 2 players who would have made sure they got the damn ball. Those are the 2 players I know. I don't. If somebody else other than Amari Stoudemire, it better be Steve Nash. It better not be anybody else. Well, it might be Joe Johnson. You might not have minded him shooting the ball.
Sure,
I mean, just
sure.
Joe Johnson we talking about here. So I understand that. But for the most part, Amari Stoudemire might want that ball. For the most part, Jay Williams wanted that basketball. I'm telling you, I'm not taking anything away from the impediments that Milwaukee presented to the Boston Celtics. I'm saying you find a way. And if you go down the right way. I would have preferred the ball in Jason Tatum's or Jaylen Brown's hands as opposed to Marcus Smart. I would have preferred that Marcus Smart not have 3 or 4 different occasions to mess up an offensive possession, which he did in the last minute. I would have preferred that. I'm looking at you in a game 5 on your home floor, tied 2-2, knowing that you lose this game, you're on the brink of elimination, having to go back to that hostile environment in Milwaukee where we both were last year. I mean, they got more people outside, hanging outside the arena than inside. I mean, it's a madhouse there. I say that as compliment. It's a madhouse. I mean, they're mayor with Mr. Cavalier Johnson. I mean, Cavalier, your name is Cavalier, you're a mayor. I mean, I don't know if
I
that
love
vibe.
that
Not as a mayor. I mean, I want somebody, I want vibrancy, I want tenacity, I want fervor. I don't want to name Cavalier as my mayor. That's just me. It's just a preference. My point is, outside of him, all of that fervor, all of that intensity that crowd in Milwaukee brings, that's what Boston will have waiting for them in a closeout game 6 in Milwaukee tomorrow night. And you know that that's the potential, and you let these kind of things happen, I say that's a bad thing.
See,
That's a bad
I just
thing.
don't know how to trust in your authenticity when it comes to your compliments, right? Like, because you did compliment the Milwaukee Bucks at the beginning of the show, but you also complimented Amari by saying, you're very, very nice. But I'm like, oh, Jay, you're very cerebral. So I'm taking your compliments and they've been slights. So I don't know. You help me translate what the compliments actually mean, Stephen A.
That's on my mood.
See,
Oh
that's
my
what
God. All right, Amari, I'm coming to you. Do you believe Boston's going to bounce back?
I think so. I think obviously losing Game 5 is a tough deal for them to lose that game in the way they lost it. But I do think that the Celtics do have the confidence knowing that they can win in Milwaukee. And I feel like when they go to Milwaukee for Game 6, that they got a chance to win that game, and I feel like they will win that game.
I said it earlier. With everything that I said about the Celtics, I think the Celtics going to go and win Game 6 and force a Game 7. I think they're winning tomorrow night in Milwaukee. Despite the hostile environment they're walking into, they'll find a way.
But are they beating Milwaukee twice?
I'm going to take Milwaukee to win it.
Right there. That's the
That's the only
That's where the hesitation and the deep breaths start to come in.
That I know that Boston, I think, top to bottom, is a more complete team. I think they're better defensively, especially without Chris Middleton.
Sure.
But there's something about seeing these moments in critical games like last night where I'm like, but are you the most complete, mature team in those type of moments? And I feel like I know who Milwaukee is in those moments. I have not seen Boston become that team consistently in those type of moments in the playoffs yet.
Right, and you know what? That's the thing, because Milwaukee are, they're championship pedigree team. You know what I'm saying? They won championships. They know what it takes to close out the series. Boston's not quite there yet, but I do think they're on the brink of being that kind of team.
I agree with you.
And with Chris Middleton being out, they have a chance to really take advantage of that, and they have to going into Game 6.
So you got Boston winning Game 6?
I do, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You ain't going to say nothing about Game 7?
Game 7, I'm not too sure about. It's going to come down to who's the best player, who has the most determination.
Right.
And I think Giannis is determined to continue to build his legacy.
I don't think it's going to
Sounds
get to
like you're
7.
leaning towards Milwaukee.
Maybe, we'll see.
Sounds like a little
I don't think it's
Milwaukee
gonna
right
get to
there.
7. I don't think it's going to get
I'm
to 7.
distracted a little bit. I like
You
that.
don't
I
think
like
it's
that
going to get
color.
to 7?
No, I think Milwaukee
like the
closes
color.
it out at home. Milwaukee's
color.
different. That place is different. He talked about us being there last year. I could not hear myself think inside that arena. I could not hear myself think. It's going to be that type of environment.
Well, that's you sometimes.
Yeah. You know what?
Even when you're not in Milwaukee.
You know what?
But
As soon as I said
understand.
it, he squinted his eyes at me. I said, oh,
I
no.
do understand.
I was like,
do
why would you
understand,
just yourself up? You
I do
just teed it
understand.
up. You just teed
All right.
it up. and you
Is
went
that
for it.
2-button shirt or 1-button?
Yeah, it's a 2-button shirt.
It's 2-button?
2-button.
Okay, I just wanted to
It's a
make
little
sure, because if
crispy.
it wasn't, that would be slippage. But you did that.
How you coming at my attire now?
No.
See?
It's a very
You see?
nice. It's
Compliment,
very nice.
backhanded slight. You see how
It's very nice.
Oh,
It's very
I
nice.
see.
It's very
Every day.
nice.
I'm
All I
well
know is this
aware.
is 70 degrees outside and he dressed like it's 30.
But it's 30
I'm just
degrees
saying.
in here.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's pretty warm in here.
I'm
Everybody-
sweating actually right now.
Look at what she's
Stephen
wearing.
A,
Does she look like she's cold?
Would you let him live?
You know what I'm saying?
I'm always cold.
You
Still to
cold?
come on First Take.
What's up with the V? Why didn't you have a V?
Back-to-back wins and Joel Embiid's return from injury to the 35-point loss in Miami in Game 5. Stephen A, does Philly's season end tonight?
No, and it better not. I believe the Sixers have to win, obviously, and they will win. I don't believe they just have to win to survive, but I also think they have to win to save Doc Rivers' job. It's not fair, it's unfortunate, but it is reality. They will answer the call tonight, or Philly will crucify them. this entire offseason.
Yeah, that was the largest playoff loss of Doc's career. All right, we'll keep it rolling, guys. This season for the Nets had many distractions, with many centering around the decisions and availability of one Kyrie Irving. After Kyrie's decision to not get vaccinated caused him to miss plenty of games, a lot of people questioned whether he's a teammate you can rely on. Yesterday, Brooklyn GM Sean Marks discussed expectations going forward and how Kyrie fits into that equation. Take a listen.
There's an objective and there's a goal at stake here. And in order to do that, we're going to need availability from everybody. You know, we're looking for guys that want to come in here, be part of something bigger than themselves, play selfless, play team basketball, and be available. And that goes not only for Kyrie, but for everybody here.
Jay Will, you're up first. Should the Nets make a long-term commitment to Kyrie Irving?
Yes. Yes. I think his talent is off the charts, but I think it needs to start with a conversation with him, Sean Marks, and Kevin Durant to make sure that they are all on the same page. Now, my thing is, KD and Kyrie together are a different animal. And I know that we can sit here and we can say, well, look at all the years, the proof of Kyrie not being there. If we want to talk about everything going back from the bubble to, his own personal situation and then again to the pandemic. But I believe in Kyrie as a person. And I know people may not believe in him because of the history, but I believe in the relationship between him and Kevin Durant enough to trust in the fact that Sean Marks, they will be able to come to some kind of agreement about what is expected of Kyrie if they were to make that long-term commitment. But I also believe Kevin Durant wants Kyrie to be there long-term with him. And if you don't sign Kyrie to a long-term deal, how does that jeopardize your relationship with Kevin Durant? So I'm standing firm behind that, even though I know he will argue that he doesn't think they should commit to him long term.
Let me give some quick context. So, Amari, you were an assistant with the team, and from what I heard on Get Up, you're no longer going to be doing that.
Right.
So I don't want to put you in a compromising situation here, but just what did you think of this whole situation, and how challenging was it from a coaching perspective for this entire staff, all the politics, and a lack of continuity?
Yeah, it was challenging because we didn't quite know if Kyrie was going to be available for certain games. And so then now we have to go with the lineup change, for home games because he couldn't play here in New York. And then that alone gives the players that are going to play, depending on if Kyrie playing or not, they have to adjust their game according to that. And then it makes it difficult for the rest of the team to build chemistry because you're not sure who's going to play and if Kyrie's going to play or not. So I think with having him available for the full length of the season will be helpful and beneficial for the Nets.
I want to make sure you finish. I want to make sure. I want to make sure you got time. You finish? You finish?
I'm done.
Okay. So I took the liberty of looking at the Nets schedule here, not to set their record ever. How many games was played this last season? Wasn't that 82? Mm-hmm. How many games was played last year? Wasn't that 82? Mm-hmm. How many games were played the year before that when the season was halted because of the pandemic? Didn't that end up being 72 games? Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. Kyrie Irving has played 20, 54, and 29 games. That means Kyrie Irving missed 52 games the first year, albeit due to injury. Mm-hmm. He missed 28 games last season. He missed 53 games this year. And they've been out of the first round once. Hell you mean long term. I'm looking at the camera. Kyrie Irving is due to make $36.9 million next year. I'd give Kyrie Irving $50 million a year. He's that spectacular. 1 year at a time. You got to show up to work, bro. I've been saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it as long as I'm breathing. Kyrie Irving, if there is a brother that will find an excuse to get out of work, it's him. And I don't mean get out of work like he don't work hard. See, that's the trick. That's where people twist stuff when they want to come and defend him and they want to protect him. I'm not talking about you, Jay. They want to do all of this stuff.
I hear you.
Like, for example, when Kyrie was not allowed to play, you know what I believe he was doing? He was busting his butt getting ready for the season. Kyrie, the kind of dude, he going to be in the gym. He going to put in the work. He ain't going to be out of shape. I challenge anybody on this planet Earth to tell me that I'm wrong about this Kyrie. You tell Kyrie to do something at 1 o'clock, he want to do it at 3. You tell him to do it at 3, he want to do it at 5. You want him to do it at 5, he want to do it at 10. He going to put in the hours. He going to put in the work. It's the notion that he got to answer to somebody other than himself. He can't take. He wants to do what he wants to do when he wants to do it. He don't want to answer. He don't want to look at anyone as an authoritative figure. And why is Kevin Durant his boy? Because that's his boy. He gonna ride and die with him. He ain't flaking on Kyrie 1 inch, at least publicly. He ain't doing that. And so because of that, he will get to do things his way. See, people are assuming that I'm talking about Kyrie's not gonna work. False. Kyrie will put in the work. Kyrie will be ready. And the bigger the challenge, the more that brother gonna show up. He ain't gonna shrink beneath the spotlight. He gonna show up and he gonna show out because that's who he is, which is why he deserves his money. The problem is the more a long-term agreement you insulate and secure him with, the more it empowers him to ignore authority because he doesn't view anybody else as authority. See, the Nets should be privileged to have him. He shouldn't feel privileged to make $36.9 million next year, or $50 million, or $200 million. No. You're lucky to have him. Why should he answer to anybody? So what I say is, Kyrie, you really want to show what you made of? Why don't you opt in? Take this last year at 36.9, because from a talent perspective, we all know the brother worth the $200 million, $250 million, hell, $300 million. Kyrie worth it. If you told me that I don't have to worry about Kyrie missing more than 12 games a year, I pay Kyrie Irving $300 million right now without blinking because the brother box office, and I'm going to get my money back because the minute they see him, he going to play. The problem is if you give him that money more than 1 year at a time, Kyrie will use that to navigate and circumvent his way around authority, showing up and doing your job on a consistent basis, a job you volunteered for, you signed up for. This ain't indentured servitude. Nobody forced Kyrie to do this. He chose to do it, and then he chooses to take off, but he still gets his money. I'm not paying him long term. I'm giving him 1 year at a time. All the money he deserves, but 1 year at a time, an option after every year. Opt in. You making $36.9 million next year. Opt in. Let's see what he does.
Yeah, interesting because, I mean, you do have to try to figure out a way to negotiate the contract moving forward with Kyrie, right? Because as a GM or owner, you want to make sure your star player is playing majority of the games. And how do you make that happen, right? You have to figure out a way because you're not sure if he says, okay, Stephen A., I am going to play, majority of the games, I'm locked in, right? But then when the season happens and he doesn't hold up to that agreement, then now what? Now you're stuck with this contract you gave him, and you're stuck with it. But if you either 1 year deal or you figure out a way to negotiate the contract properly.
Some type of stipulation.
Stipulations.
You get your money based
there you
on.
Go.
Absolutely.
Pay for play. That's all. That's what you're talking about. So I'm sorry, because this has to happen. You ain't working, let me tell you this, you ain't working for the Nets anymore, are you?
No.
Okay, good. So I'm going to ask you this question. You just brought up a pay-for-play option, which nobody would really want to hear. I mean, how dare anybody say it? I'm saying it. I'm saying it, damn it. The hell with it. Forget it more. I'm saying the hell with him, yes. But I ask you this question. Could you please put in the words what Kyrie Irving's situation last year you believe did to the Brooklyn Nets championship aspirations? Could you do that, please?
I mean, we can always speculate on if he played. We may have won a championship. We could have had a chance to compete for a title, which is true. It could have definitely helped us in the way on the side of competing for a championship. But we don't know that for sure, right? I mean, you got teams that are playing great basketball, so we don't know for sure if we would have won a championship if Kyrie would have played. It would have enhanced our chances to win a championship. But you can't guarantee that would happen.
I ain't asking for guarantees. I asked you a direct question. What kind of an impact do you believe Kyrie Irving's situation had on this season's championship aspirations? That's a direct question.
Yeah, I think it hurt us. It definitely hurt us because we didn't have the consistency with Kyrie enough to build the chemistry for the group of the team, right? He plays, only on away games, depending on which city it is, can't play in New York. So therefore, we have different lineups and different matchups depending on the game scheduling. And so it made it difficult for us as coaches to figure out, who's going to play in spite of Kyrie. The chemistry's not quite there, probably like we would like for it to be. So it was difficult for us to manage that. It was definitely hard.
Did it hurt the chemistry between James Harden and the teammates?
I'm not sure if it hurt between James Harden and his teammates because I feel like obviously we couldn't build the proper chemistry with the total group to play those big three guys, James, Kev, and Kyrie, to play at the same time. We didn't have a lot of games to experience that with those three guys on the court. So I can't really comment on whether that would have affected those three guys together, but it didn't help.
Last comment, because I feel I owe Steve Nash this. I have been somebody who feels that Steve Nash needed to go. But it wasn't because of his coaching abilities. It's because I felt like you have to have a coach strong enough to deal with this kind of nonsense that he could throw in your direction. So I was of the mindset either Kyrie got to go or Steve Nash got to go. Because Steve Nash, to me, hasn't really been given an opportunity to really coach this team because he's never had a team because of one shenanigan after another that has transpired. Okay, and I ain't even bringing up the James Harden stuff and how James Harden told him one thing and did another. Forget all of that. James Harden wanted out and we got all of that. He wanted to be with Daryl Morey. That is not a crime. But the point is, Steve Nash, as much as I did not like the fact that a guy with no coaching experience instantly gets a job hovering over a championship contender, I want to be fair to him by saying he has not been given a true opportunity to coach a complete team in his years in Brooklyn, and he will never be given that opportunity as long as KD and Kyrie are together because of Kyrie. So either Kyrie goes or Steve Nash has to go, and somebody that can come in there and be like, hell with that. This is what we going to do. Here's how we going to do it, and I don't give a damn what anybody says. That's my position. You don't have to comment.
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I think Steve and Kyrie can both figure it out. I feel like Kyrie has to make a commitment to himself in the game of basketball on how committed he is to being a great player, because I feel like Kyrie should have been on that top 75 list. But at the same time, you have to now take that as motivation and going into next season and proving yourself, prove to yourself that you are a top player and do it consistently throughout the season.
But you and I both know, come on, y'all, we all know this. The only reason Kyrie wasn't on it, and I had a vote, the only reason why Kyrie wasn't on that list is because of availability. Nothing else. There's no way that Kyrie isn't a top 75 player talent-wise in the history of the game. Everyone knows that. You left him off because who the hell are you to skip work so much?
I just want to say one thing. I know before, 3 years ago, it was the injury. I know the bubble thing was a different scenario with George Floyd. But there were other players last year that did not play because they played, but there wasn't a city mandate who didn't get vaccinated.
Fair.
So, I do want to put that overall into
fair.
Okay.
Fair. Okay, but they didn't go on. Despite what I said, they didn't go on a podcast afterwards.
I understand.
Such is the life of a martyr.
I don't agree with that.
You see what I'm saying?
I don't agree with that.
You see what he does?
I'm with you on that.
You see what he does?
I'm with you. I don't like that.
Please.
I don't like that. But
Please, 1 year at a time. Give $50 million, 1 year at a time.
Yeah, or pay for play.
You got to show up to work.
Coming up here on First Take, you might have heard, but Stephen A had a hot take on what the Lakers should do with LeBron. Okay, I'm getting a different direction here. You want to take this?
Yes, I'll take it. First of all, I'm proud of Jeannie Buss. You know, I've spoken to Jeannie Buss myself, and that message that Bill Plaschke just articulated is consistent with what she told me. So obviously that is to be believed. We all love Jeannie. It is what it is. We say that. Let me say this before I get into LeBron James. Let me look in the camera and talk to Rich Paul, the head of Clutch Sports, the agent for LeBron James. Sit down, bro. Stop it. Every little thing is disrespectful to LeBron James. Every little thing. I mean, my God. I mean, you call LeBron James. Listen, Rich Paul is the dude years ago, Jay Williams. I said, far be it for me. I got LeBron James as number 2 on the planet in the history of basketball, spanning 75 years. I have him, even with Kareem in 19 All-Stars and 6 championships and 6 league MVPs and a college championship and a high school championship. I got LeBron James number 2 all time. And that's an insult. This is Rich Paul. It is an insult. Get tested, bro. Something wrong with you. Something wrong with him, all right? Sit down and keep watching First Take. We appreciate the viewership. Here's the deal. LeBron James, no one is disrespecting LeBron James. The man just finished averaging 30 in his 19th season at age 37. He's absolutely phenomenal. We've never seen it in our lifetime, somebody to be this old, this great in terms of basketball parlance. What I was saying, Jay, weeks ago was, you have nothing else. In the case of Anthony Davis, everyone knows he's a star when healthy, but he's so injury prone, no one has faith that he'll be healthy enough to really give you what you need from him. So his trade value is diminished because of that. And because of the season Russell Westbrook just had, although I have faith he will resurrect himself and make amends for the season he just had, a lot of people are not inclined to deal with him either, even though he's approaching the last year of a deal paying him $47 million. So what I said, Jay, was if you had LeBron James on the market, just imagine the calls that would come in and what people would be willing to give you for him, because he's box office, he's great, he's a leader, he's a champion, and there's almost nothing they wouldn't do. Most teams in the league, not all, most teams in the league, there's almost nothing they wouldn't do to get their hands on him. That's all. Because I said, you're not doing but so much anyway. So it should at least be considered. That's all I said.
Operative word, considered.
So that's it.
Okay.
So Rich Paul, Mr. Sensitive, you know what I'm saying? I know people need a man with sensitivity, but damn it, not today. The bottom line is it's not necessary, okay? So, to make sure we assuage the concerns of Rich Paul, could y'all give me my ticket, please? I want to make sure we're doing this. I want to make sure we're doing this, Jay.
You really have a ticket?
We got, look at that. Great husband.
Oh, yeah.
Great father. Generous philanthropist. Hold on, hold on. Wait a minute. Read it. The LeBron James Family Foundation, the I Promise School, fostering positive change in the community. Hollywood power broker, great actor, clutch player, clean diet, handsome, all around good guy, great human being, phenomenal father, phenomenal family man and husband. You understand? One of the greatest wives on the planet. Who could ever throw any shade on Savannah? She's the best. Okay? Did I miss anything? Because the Rich Pauls are the way they get sensitive. Did I miss anything, Jay? I just want to make sure. Is there a category? Did you see the movie Trainwreck? It was phenomenal. LeBron James.
He was really
fantastic.
He was really good in that. And that was a really funny movie.
With Amy Schumer, right?
Yes,
that
Amy
was
Schumer,
really
He was
funny.
fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, that was good.
Great act. Did I have that up there? Did I have great act up
again.
there? Did I have great act up there? I can't see from this distance with the low funds. I can't see it. There's great actor up there. Okay, thank you very much. So we got all of it. Did I miss anything, Jay?
No.
Did I miss anything? Floor's yours.
I don't agree with everything that Rich Paul says. Him and I talk a lot.
Yes. Yeah, who doesn't talk to Rich Paul?
But what I will say is I think this might be the most insulting thing I've ever heard you say about LeBron James.
Oh, God. How's it insulting?
Because we are talking about one of the two greatest players to ever play on this planet.
Yes.
And when you start throwing in a guy who just won a championship 2.5 years ago, I've never, ever could imagine you saying the Bulls should think about trading Michael Jordan.
They weren't losing.
I never could imagine hearing you say the Lakers should think about trading Kobe Bryant. So if we're talking about one of the greatest to ever do it, the most erroneous thing I think you could say, who just came off having an MVP season, who just won you a championship. Now, if you want to talk about AD, trading AD, I know there's going to be issues with that, Russell Westbrook, but let's stop saying we should think about trade LeBron James with the Lakers. The Lakers are a legacy franchise. Right. Can you imagine how the backlash that would be on a legacy franchise talking about trading a legacy player like LeBron James
right now? And then let me go to
That's crazy.
You know what
That's erroneous.
You know what we're discovering right now?
What?
We're discovering right now, I'm not his boy. He ain't got no love for me.
I got love for you.
I'm going to explain how. Because we all know where I want to be. We all know where I want to be. I would love to be in LA. I'm not saying that LeBron James should be traded or anything like that because of LeBron.
But just even throwing it out there makes people consider it.
I'm saying, as phenomenal as he is, he's all they have. Yes. They have nothing else.
Go down with the ship,
They have nothing else.
Go down with the ship.
He's not saying it's a slight at LeBron.
complimenting
LeBron
him.
individually had an incredible season.
But it is a slight to LeBron, even if that's not the way he's saying it.
I'm complimenting him.
It is. You know why? Because they're saying at this stage of your career, at 37, having an MVP caliber year, we need to do what's best in our franchise, and we're going to let you figure it out on your own.
No.
Not figure it out on your own. Maybe he could go to a better situation.
That's right.
That's a great thing. He's in LA.
He's been
Has
in
this man
different
not
places. He's been in four different franchises.
Put the headliner back up there. Put all of LeBron James accolades up there. Put it. Now y'all going to go commercial. I get 2 minutes and y'all go to commercial.
I need a 3-minute timeout from both of you right now. It's getting very loud in here.
All this stuff that he's doing, look at this.
Go to commercial. Would
look at that. I promise. All these. He's been able to leverage all that while being in LA. He likes his family in LA. He likes his wine in LA. Now you're going to try to say, oh,
He likes his wine in LA. Is that really what we're doing?
That's what I just said on national TV. Yes.
Let's go to commercial.
This man deserves to be treated like a king on his way out.
Gosh.
You treat him with the respect he deserves, Stephen A. Train him.
You just embarrassed yourself on national TV.
Oh, and by the way,
I don't
yes,
understand,
his wine
producers,
and
what's
his
happening? We have to get a
MVP
commercial
season.
break.
What, you gonna give him a pedicure or two?
Well, the guy gives me 30 every single night.
You gonna give him a pedicure too?
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Yes.
Okay, you gonna
30
give him a
points a
pedicure.
night. Yes.
All right, okay. You didn't say no.
37 years old,
You didn't
30
say no
points
to
a
the
night.
pedicure, a manicure. You didn't say no to any of that.
Oh,
you didn't say none of that.
Your nails do look nice though. You get them buffed?
I haven't yet.
They do look nice.